Good morning and welcome to all of you to DMIC's annual meeting. First, I'd like to extend a special welcome and thanks to Governor Baker, Mayor Walsh, our legislative leaders, Commissioner Evans, Sheriff Tompkins, DMIC patients, families, staff, and friends for joining this morning. You'll hear from many of them later in the program. I also want to express my deepest gratitude to our Chair Emeritus of the DMIC Community Foundation Board, Flash Wiley. Flash, it's a pleasure to have you here. For those of us who have been around DMIC for a while, we can tell you how incredibly grateful we are to you, Flash, for your leadership, your partnership, your passion, your commitment to DMIC, where I know that you'll continue to have a significant positive impact for many years ahead. Thank you so much again. I also want to thank my colleagues on the Community Foundation Board, the Health Services and Community Service Boards, and the President's Council for your work and dedication to DMIC. I am tremendously proud of our work together to strengthen and support DMIC's comprehensive programs. We are always honored to welcome new board members to the Community Foundation Board and greatly appreciate their willingness to join and take part in such a dynamic group. This past year, we welcomed Dan Ginsberg, founder of DG Healthcare Associates, to the Community Foundation Board. Dan has an incredible depth of experience in developing strategy and policy for healthcare organizations focused on improving quality and value. Dan's insight and expertise will help further elevate our work. We also welcome new members of our Health Services and Community Services Boards, both comprised of strong leaders who share their wisdom and experience to support our health center and our child and family and behavioral health programs. Robbie Robinson is the new chair of the Health Services Board. A longtime patient and member of the board, Robbie brings a wealth of experience related to our work and our community. We express our thanks to Paul Mendes, who stepped down from chair of the Health Services Board after a wonderful tenure. Thankfully, Paul remains on the Community Foundation Board. Paul, thank you so much for your many contributions to DMIC. Glenn Johnson and Jeanette Ortiz, both longtime patients of our health center and community leaders, joined our Health Services Board, which provides critical guidance to our health center. Karen Baruti, partner and managing director at Education Resource Strategies. Christopher Candace Fisher, vice president of Student Affairs, Diversity and Inclusion, and chief equity officer at the Berklee College of Music. And David Zabo, partner at Locke Lord, also joined our Community Services Board this past year. We are also proud of the creation of our new President's Council and its great potential to engage influential leaders across various organizations and within the community. I am thrilled to recognize all of these leaders and thank them for their tremendous contributions of time and talent. I'd also like to take this time to recognize our newly elected Community Foundation Board Vice Chairs, Arlene Fortunato, Senior Vice President of Advancement at the Greater Boston Food Bank, and Juan LaPera, Vice President of Business Diversity at Tufts Health Plan. Since they joined the board a few years ago, they have demonstrated significant leadership and vision. Congratulations to you both on this new role, and thank you. Fiscal year 17 was a pivotal one at the DMIC Center in our work on campus, our partnerships in the community, and our continued leadership in integrated healthcare and substance abuse treatment and education here and abroad. During my time as vice chair and now in my current role as chair of the DMIC Community Foundation Board, I am thrilled to witness and be a part of the terrific work that DMIC does for our community. We are a model of innovative healthcare and education, providing integrated services for many generations of families. Today indeed marks a milestone for DMIC as we celebrate the successful completion of the Building the Road to Recovery capital campaign and cut the ribbon on the new Dr. Lucy Sewell Center for Acute Treatment Services. Dr. Maisha Minter-Jordan a trailblazer in healthcare, and the dynamic leader and chief executive officer of the Dimick Center, successfully led this campaign, raising $16.4 million in just 2 years. She raised that amount in just 2 years to expand Dimick's inpatient detox program to reach 4,000 people annually. To say this was an ambitious goal is an understatement. Although there was unanimous agreement that we needed a new inpatient detox facility to meet the huge demand for care, we wondered if we could complete such a large capital campaign so quickly. Maisha, however, in her indomitable way, persevered, and I speak for all of us when we say how thankful we are that you did. And we had some help with the transformative support from our lead campaign donor, the Yawkey Foundations. Significant commitments from our 3 hospital partners, and the generosity of many other campaign friends. Our comprehensive, innovative work in substance abuse disorder will continue to position the Dimick Center as an expert in the field and as a national model. Many thanks to all of you for helping to make this day possible. Now, we have more ahead this morning before we cut the ribbon and go inside the new Dr. Lucy Sewell Center. But I hope when you leave that you'll continue to stay connected with Dimick, coming to our other events, engaging with us on social media, and supporting our work. It is now my pleasure to introduce Tony Wood, Assistant Treasurer of the Dimick Community Foundation Board, who will provide a financial report on fiscal year 2017. Tony?
I don't know about you, but I'm a little chilly. Good morning and welcome. I'm Tony Wood, and I co-chair Dimick's Finance Committee with my colleague Bruce Figueroa. I am pleased to report on Dimick's solid financial performance for fiscal 2017 and outline other strategic financial initiatives we are taking in 2018 to further strengthen our organization. Going right to the bottom line, for the 5th consecutive year, Dimick recorded a significant profit of approximately $950,000. We may be a nonprofit, but we made a profit. These results were helped by recognition of capital revenue associated with the renovation of the building, as well as unrealized gains on investments in our endowment fund. At fiscal year end 2017, the value of our endowment was $3.2 million, or $350,000 higher than at the end of 2016. And by the end of March of this year, that's last week, it had risen further to $3.4 million. From an operations perspective, growth in patient service volume and additional federal support for health centers increased Dimick's overall operating revenue by 4% over fiscal year 2016. As Dimick's financial performance has improved, so has the strength of its balance sheet. In addition to the endowment, at present we have approximately $4 million in cash on hand to navigate any future adverse economic, regulatory, or reimbursement changes that are thrown at us. A report on fiscal year 2017 would not be complete without a brief discussion of this beautiful building. This $16 million project is the largest capital project that we have ever undertaken, and now it is done and complete and on the books. It was funded with generous donations from many of you. particularly the Yorkie Foundation, our lead campaign donor, and our hospital partners, Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center, Partners Healthcare, and Boston Medical Center, as well as a significant appropriation from the state of Massachusetts. Additionally, new market tax credit financing from Capital One and Mass Development were also instrumental in building this project. Finally, Massachusetts historic tax credits, valued at over $1 million, help maintain the historic component of this building for future generations to see. Thank you all for so generously supporting DMIC and making the Building the Road to Recovery Capital campaign such an overwhelming success. In fiscal 2018, DMIC will be pursuing a number of strategic financial goals. A changing reimbursement landscape is underway as the state Medicaid program moves from toward accountable care organizations, something you'll be hearing a lot more about in the coming year, which manage the entire cost and quality of care for a patient through his or her entire healthcare experience. DMIC is a leader in this movement as a principal participant in an innovative accountable care organization called the Community Care Cooperative, which is comprised of 13 health centers across Massachusetts. C3, as it is called for short, includes about 4,300 DMIC patients. Strategically, we are also examining our real estate footprint to determine if alternative uses are feasible for some of our campus land and building for growth, development, and community needs. DMIC's future growth will not be confined to just our campus setting. We are also pursuing expansion and partnership opportunities with other social service organizations in surrounding areas of the city in order to expand DMIC's influence and reach. Finally, our greatest asset is our employees, many of whom live in this neighborhood and are DMIC patients. They work so tirelessly and well to support the mission of this organization. In an effort to continue to retain and attract the most dedicated staff, we are looking at various initiatives to improve compensation and benefits. We believe all these critical initiatives, as well as our continued solid financial performance, will position DMIC for the future as one of the leading employers and providers of health and human services in the greater Boston area. Thank you for your continued support and enjoy your tour of this beautiful Lucy Sewell Center later this morning. Thank you.
Good morning. I know we're cold, but I'm going to hear a little bit more enthusiasm. Good morning. Thank you. My name is Dr. Maisha Minter-Jordan, and I'm the president and CEO. We don't need to do that. Thank you. Thank you. I do have to say a few words. Thank you so much. This day, I've got to tell you, before I even get into the speech, it feels so surreal. It's almost as if I can't believe that we're here and that this is happening, but it's been a long time coming, and it wouldn't be possible without everyone in this tent and beyond. So please allow me to welcome you again to this annual meeting and our ribbon cutting ceremony for the Dr. Lucy Sewell Center for Acute Treatment Services. This is a historic day for the DMIC Center and for our community, and I'm incredibly proud proud of the past year, of all of the accomplishments that we have made in furthering our mission, vision, and goals. I'm thankful to Raquel, Bob, and Tony for highlighting our efforts for the last year, and I'm most grateful to each and every employee for our success to date. So I want to just take a quick second and ask, if you are an employee, if you're standing, wave. If you're not standing, please stand so that we can collectively acknowledge that you are what makes DMIC what we are, and that you make DMIC the incredible provider of health and human services that we are today. I see employees. Please stand. Please stand. Please stand. Raquel. Thank you. None of this would be possible without you, and I'm proud to lead this incredible organization and to represent all of you today. So we're here in front of the Dr. Lucy Sewell Center for Acute Treatment Services, finally. And as you heard, the Sewell building was originally the maternity ward for the New England Hospital for Women and Children, and it has been transformed to an inpatient detoxification program where people are in many ways reborn. It provides a new beginning. And what you'll see emblazoned in the front here is a stork, and the original stork from when this was a maternity ward. And when you step outside and you're walking down the street, you'll also see a stork on top of the building that harkens back to the days when it was a maternity ward. And those are very special pieces that we wanted to keep because of the symbolism of being reborn and starting anew. For generations, DMIC has stood as an open door, embracing all people of our community in the many stages of their lives. And when people ask how we do this work without giving up, without giving in, I think about the generations of people that have come through DMIC's doors. I think about the people whose lives we have touched that go on to meet their full potential. I remember in particular, I had a patient one day when I was in clinic who was seeking help, a woman who was homeless, living with an abusive boyfriend, and suffering from addiction. And she didn't know what to do or where to go, and she'd come to me for her routine physical. So as her provider, one of the things that was so special about my ability to work in the clinic here was that I could get on the phone and call our detox, get her into our detox program. From there, she went into one of our residential programs, and from there, she eventually got out on her own, drug-free and independent. For me, those types of stories really are what makes DMIC special. It's our essence. It's an embodiment of our mission to heal and uplift the community. And it's in this spirit that DMIC has taken a leadership role in substance use recovery, welcoming those who suffer from the overwhelming pain of substance use disorder and providing comprehensive long-term care that truly enables them to have the space and time to heal. So today we celebrate the extraordinary community who rallied around DMIC to help us renovate the Sewell building and create this amazing program, a place of welcoming arms and fresh starts built in the tradition of healing for generations to come. So 1 year ago, many of you were here at our annual meeting, and following our capital campaign, we broke ground on this renovation project. And many of you at that time were told about this story of our campaign and the great sense of urgency that we faced in meeting our goals. We set an ambitious goal initially of $15 million for the full renovation and expansion of our historic Sewell building, work that we knew was critical to the building not only for its maintenance and upkeep, but for it to continue standing. And before we even announced the campaign, and with the tremendous support of the Yawkey Foundations, we engaged capital campaign consultants who told me that it would take anywhere from 3 to 5 years to complete our campaign. We didn't have that kind of time. Every day, today, right now, people are dying in Massachusetts from overdoses. And we knew that we had to act urgently in order to drive a campaign to raise the funds to not only provide addiction services, but to expand our addiction services to the patients that come from over 200 zip codes throughout the Commonwealth to our detox here in Roxbury. I can tell you firsthand that medical school and business school do not prepare you for that type of challenge. Last time I checked, there's no capital campaign curriculum in either of those programs. So what I did was I relied on all of you. I relied on you to answer my calls, my letters, my visits, and you allowed me to bring the faces and stories of addiction to you, to humanize rather than criminalize the thousands of people suffering from addiction. And in turn, many of you shared your stories, stories of your mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, children, and friends, stories that cross racial, socioeconomic, and geographic backgrounds, stories with common themes that often plague those who have loved ones overcome by the devastating disease of addiction, themes of heartache, hopelessness, fear, and desperation, but also of hope. So in 2015, at the 28th annual Stepping Out, we officially launched the public phase of our campaign, and we broke ground 1 year later, having exceeded our goal, as you've heard, raising $16.4 million. Yet, even before we launched the campaign, previous DEMIC leaders helped position DEMIC as a leader in substance use treatment. My predecessors, Ruth Ellen Fitch, who's somewhere in here, wave your hand, Ruth Ellen, over there. Jackie Jenkins Scott, I saw Jackie in here. Jackie's there as well. Former DEMIC presidents. They created and strengthened our comprehensive continuum of substance use disorder treatment services, and they laid the foundation for where we are today, and I will forever be grateful to both of them. So I have a long list of campaign friends to thank. I'll be quick. All who contributed, though, in incredibly meaningful ways to our campaign. Generous commitments and key supporters obviously include primarily a lead gift of $2.5 million from the Yawkey Foundations, a $5 million Commonwealth of Massachusetts appropriation, $5 million in new market tax credit allocations from Mass Development and Capital One. Our fantastic consultant, Barbara Cleary, for guiding us through what became a migraine-inducing new market tax credit process. Chet Atkins and his team from Tremont Strategies. Chet's sage advice helped us garner support for our work, and they were instrumental in making the impossible possible. I had incredible members of the Building the Road to Recovery Campaign Task Force Committee, led by Community Foundation Board Vice Chair, Arlene Fortunato. Thank you, Arlene. Board member George McNaught of TJX Companies, who aptly named our campaign The Road to Recovery. George is here somewhere. All incredible. I think I'm the luckiest woman in the world to have an incredible board of 23 board members, led at the time by Fletcher Flash Wiley as our board chair, who all contributed to the campaign. And without that grounding of having your board contribute and support the campaign, none of this would have been possible. So thank you to all 23 members of our board. Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center President and CEO, Dr. Kevin Tabb, who was amazing. Partners Healthcare, Dr. David Torchiana. Boston Medical Center, Kate Walsh. Governor Charlie Baker. Mayor Martin Walsh. Former Governor Deval Patrick. Chairman Jeffrey Sanchez. Representative Liz Malia. The list goes on and on. Advancement Advisors and CCS Consulting for their support in getting this campaign off the ground. And so many dedicated first new members of the DEMIC family and longtime DEMIC friends. Thank you all for making this possible. Your support, patience, guidance, generosity really made this happen. And as we look at this historic building and think about the transformation that we're about to see, I'd also like to recognize our project architects, the firm of Platt, Anderson, and Freeman, John Freeman, Sam Dennis, who are both here today. Please wave. And if you need to know anything about this campus, these two men can tell you. Their in-depth knowledge of our campus extends through many decades of incredible partnership. I'd also like to thank our contractor, Timberline Construction, led by Steve Kelly, who's also here. Steve, there he is. About a year ago, I think many of you witnessed that I held him to a promise that he would be on time and on budget. And as expected, and rare for a contractor, I must say, he delivered on that promise, so thank you, Steve. That's right, 2 for 2. So beyond the actual building, what will take place inside the building is significant. Our dedicated behavioral health staff, led by our Vice President of Behavioral Health, Dr. Mark Levon, will work around the clock They'll work around the clock to provide comprehensive treatment and support to our patients. This is often the first stop in the long road to recovery, and our staffing and ability to deliver a strong curriculum is strengthened because of the generosity in this room. When we open these doors, we will be able to serve over 4,000 people each year, an increase of 1,000 over our current capacity. We will ensure that 4,000 men and women from our neighborhood and across the Commonwealth are able to access outstanding addiction treatment, as well as a continuum of health and human services, a foundation for long-term recovery. As elated and grateful as we are today, we can't help but feel sobered when we realize that our work is not yet done. We've not completely turned the tide on this disease. The opioid epidemic continues in Roxbury, throughout Boston, and across the Commonwealth. We need to continue to strengthen DMIC's model of care and ensure that we have the resources and capacity to meet the demand from people who want to start their recovery journey. And I believe that all of you are here this morning because you understand that each of us has a role to play. Each of us can make an impact and literally save a life, save lives. And I know that we don't take this responsibility lightly or for granted. The ability and opportunity to save a life and/or improve a life is an incredible privilege. I'm grateful to each of you for acknowledging your role in this epidemic, for being leaders in a space that for far too long has been marginalized and ignored. And I'm incredibly grateful and thankful for your support and for your advocacy on behalf of DMIC and our community. Your presence here today matters. Your contributions change lives, and your belief in DMIC carries us forward. Thank you. So now I have the pleasure of acknowledging a woman who has been so incredible in her advocacy for all of those who suffer from substance use disorder, Representative Liz Malia. Representative Malia has served as a Massachusetts State Representative for the 11 Suffolk District communities of Mission Hill, Jamaica Plain, Rosendale, Roxbury, and Dorchester since 1998. She serves as the Assistant Vice Chair of the Committee on Ways and Means and on the Joint Committees of Labor and Workforce Development and Public Service. As a former House Chair of the Joint Committee on Mental Health, Substance Use, and Recovery for more than a decade, Representative Malia has led efforts to improve access to mental health and substance abuse services, especially in communities of color and language. And I will correct myself and say substance use disorder services. Representative Malia has worked tirelessly to support DMIC, in particular helping to secure critical funding for our inpatient detox program and our continuum of substance use treatment services. Representative Malia is dedicated, energetic, and she's a leader in the city of Boston, a great friend, and a DMIC champion. I'm honored to present the DMIC Champion Award to Representative Liz Malia in recognition of her efforts and enthusiasm for the DMIC Center and the people that we support. Thank you, Representative Malia, for all you do. Please come up. Where's the award? Sure. I'm going to check down. All right. Thank you. Okay. I found the award. We can keep going. It is now my pleasure to introduce a great DMIC champion and my friend, Chairman Jeffrey Sanchez. Chairman Sanchez has served as the Massachusetts State Representative for the 15th Suffolk District communities of Mission Hill, Jamaica Plain, Rosendale, and Brookline since 2003. He is House Chair of the Joint Committee on Healthcare Financing, has worked with his colleagues on several major pieces of legislation related to healthcare, and has been an incredible advocate for DMIC and all that we do here. Please welcome Chairman Jeffrey Sanchez.
Remember, we need money. Yes. Yes. And in this room, there's a whole lot of money. I mean, what could you say about Maisha, right? I mean, when she calls, we all follow, right? And that's why we're all here. She's just, you know, she is that light. She is that light at the end of the tunnel for so many individuals and so many here in the Commonwealth. I mean, the poise, the elegance, the intelligence. I mean, you are it, man. We are so lucky to have you, and I, as well as so many in this room, depend on you to figure out what we're going to do. You know, because Lord knows we are embarking on something pretty dramatic that's going to affect a lot of people out here, and to have you working not only here but throughout the Commonwealth on issues that affect the poor, the frail, the elderly, under a new scheme that's, you know, that's being headed by the chief over there, Mary Lou Sutters, who likes to remind me, remember, 50% of the budget. So I'm sorry, 56% of the budget, okay? It is an incredible endeavor. And check this out. I mean, like I said, I'm looking around the room, right? Because I'm really impressed, right? But then again, I'm impressed by anything, you know? But check it out. We got Torchiano over here. We got Tab over here. We got, who's that? Hey, Walsh over here. I saw Croswell somewhere. You back there. Say hi from Tufts. And then all of you. And then imagine we got Reverend Dr. Ray Hammond who's here. So we have faith in the room, okay? So that means all of this cost and quality and all this stuff, we can do it together. You probably should barricade all the doors here, and actually we should start the conversation, because we are thinking of doing a number of things in the legislature with Governor Baker and the Senate to tackle head on, again, the issue of care access and quality, and also this big question of cost. And this new realm, remember, Massachusetts is the only state in the country that is taking on the Medicaid program head on in terms of integrating services, program, and also looking at how we're going to pay directly. And it's because of us knowing that we have all the partners we need. Remember, now, and I think today is an important day because Lucy Sewell, who this building is named after, the namesake, she was a leader in the women's medical movement at the turn of the last century. And she focused her life on healthcare, public health, particularly for needed women and children and people in the underserved. The mission continues here through the many women that were mentioned a moment ago. Every single president that this institution has had, and Maisha, you mentioned a moment ago, you know, Jackie, Ruth Ellen, yourself, you've carried this torch, and we will follow with you. And with partners like Mr. Rivers over here, who's, you know, I like messing with him, you know, because he just opened up shop in my neighborhood, so I'm excited. You know, he's continued to invest in our communities in so many ways, and to attach himself to DMIC is really incredible. And of course, our President Emeritus Flash Wiley, who he's looking sharp as always. Look at it, I got my boots on today. These are better than the ones, because he's always got to be cracking on a Puerto Rican, you know what I'm saying? Always got to be cracking. And our great mayor, Martin J. Walsh, who just arrived, give him a shout out. Our friend, a guy who knows the issue of substance use, and our great friend Mike Capuano, who kills it every single day. When I go to Washington, D.C., he sets himself on fire constantly. And he is a great fighter for all of us, and I'm proud to have you here. And to our friend from the Yawkey Foundation, thanks for stepping up. Thanks for stepping up here with us, because this is where we need the help, and it's so important that you stepped up so early, because it made it so much easier for everyone else to follow. So thank you, everyone, and thank you for being here and celebrating such an incredible day.
So it is now my privilege to welcome to the stage Mayor Martin J. Walsh. We're not going to let you sit for long. Mayor Walsh is a lifetime advocate for the prevention and treatment of addiction. And from the very beginning, he supported our campaign, allowing us to feature him in our case for support. He was instrumental in raising this important issue and imploring our city to support organizations like DMIC in this fight for life. He is a great friend to DMIC and the Roxbury community. Please help me welcome Mayor Walsh.
I need these for a minute. Thank you. Thanks, Doc. And I want to thank Maisha. She's an amazing leader. When I became the mayor, one of the first places I came was up to DMIC here. I walked around and we went into this building and we were talking about what was going on here. We walked across the street to the halfway house. We talked about the full campus, full service treatment programs, recovery programs. And I just thought it was amazing to have it here in Boston that, you know, somebody who just goes in the front door as an addict can leave here with dignity and the dignity they had before they became addicted. And that's what happens up here. And I want to thank Maisha. I want to thank the board, her board. I want to thank Flash Wiley. I want to thank all the board members that are here, maybe all the past board members that might be here. This building is going to save lives, and most medical facilities save lives, but this is not just going to save somebody's life. It's going to restore the dignity back to the people, the individuals who are struggling with alcohol and drugs and just so many other issues people have. So thank you so much for what you do up here. And again, to the board. There's so many people that I want to give shouts out to real quick. Jen Tracy from the city, from our office, and Brendan. From our Office of Recovery Services, Marty Martinez is here, a new Chief of Health and Human Services. Representative Sanchez, Jeffrey Sanchez, who, when he first became a state representative, fighting for recovery programs and money, and then being on the Healthcare Policy Committee as a chairman, always understanding the struggle of people and making sure that we have treatments, not just for people that are addicted today, but people who were addicted a long time ago. Thank you, Jeff, for your support. Congressman Mike Capuano has been a champion for us for 20 years. I want to thank you for that. The woman I'm looking at in the front row, Liz Malia, being named DMIC champion. Liz Malia has led this fight since she's been a representative. I met her in 1999, I believe it was, when she got elected to the House, and we became dear friends. She became the chairwoman of the committee on substance abuse services, and she understands this fight. And this is truly something that it's in her blood, in her heart. We have a prescription monitoring program. I know the legislature recently passed it again. The governor is going to be here. He's going to talk about it. But the first prescription monitoring program we had in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts was because of Liz Malia. And that was, thank you, Liz. I know the Yawkey Jim and the Yawkey Foundation got shouted out here, well deserved. Over the last 6 months, I've learned a lot about the Yawkey Foundation, and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars have come to the streets of Boston in different neighborhoods. And I want to thank the Yawkey Foundation for the investment here, because the investment here, like I say all over the place, having your name on a hospital is great and you do save lives, but having your name here is not just saving lives, it's turning lives around, so thank you for that. I have notes here. Listen, I'm not going to go long. It's cold in here and you're cold. What recovery can do for somebody is truly amazing. You can see somebody, and everyone in this tent knows somebody that's had an issue with drugs, alcohol, depression. Not everyone in this tent has seen maybe their loved one come out of that side. But those of you that have seen people come out of that side, the struggles that people go through are forgotten by the time people get into recovery. What DMIC does every day, it's great to see this many people in this tent because it's important. You know, Stephen Kelly's here, the construction company. They produce a product that's going to save lives. Steve Tompkins, who I didn't mention him because I overlooked him. Sorry, Steve, I didn't see you there. Saves lives, but many of the people that Steve sees needs to make a stop here to save their life, to bring back their support. Whether it's Kate Walsh or Kevin Tabb or whatever hospital it might be, understands that when people go into the front door of the hospital emergency rooms, oftentimes they need to be here. Mary Lou Sutters, who works at the governor, understands the importance of making sure that there is a front door into recovery. I am so honored to be here as the mayor of Boston today to cut this ribbon. I've cut a lot of ribbons as the mayor in the last 4.5 years, and a lot of us have cut a lot of ribbons, but I know when we cut this ribbon, I know it means so much more than some of the ribbons I've cut on some of the biggest buildings in the city of Boston. So just from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank all of the people who donated, all the people who made this building happen. I want to thank all of the, as I said, the board of directors here. I want to thank Flash Wiley, because I was here the day we broke grounds, and I could see in his face, the smile in his face, and it was kind of his last, I think it was one of his last official moves as the chair of the board here, but he's here today, and Bob Rivers is here to cut the ribbon, so it's about who cuts it, Bob, so you get all the credit. You were here, you made it happen, but I just want to, again, just thank you for being here today, and Dr. Maisha Minter-Jordan, you mean so much to all of us in this city. I want to thank you for your leadership. I want to thank you for your support. I want to thank you for the opportunity to be here today to share this special moment.
So it is now my privilege to introduce Congressman Michael Capuano. I had the privilege to meet with the congressman in D.C. Last month and present him with an award from the Massachusetts League of Community Health Centers. He's been an incredibly fierce advocate for health centers and was instrumental in ensuring that our federal funding was restored this year. So thank you for that. It is my honor to have him here with us today, Congressman Mike Capuano.
I'm going to be just a little longer than Liz Malia was, but not much. I wanted to come today for a couple of reasons. I mean, it's great to see everybody, and it's great to have the annual meeting. But let's talk about the issue we're here for today, how difficult it was to get a building. But when I break my leg, I go to the doctor, they fix it, they get reimbursed from the insurance companies, and we move on. If someone has an addiction problem, it's not that easy. You have to cobble it all together. It's gotten better in the last few years now that society has recognized this through the work of people like Liz Malia and Marty Walsh and others who've been real leaders on this. But you need to cobble it together, because almost no one who will come through these doors presents with just one issue. Many of them come with many issues, some mental health issues, some criminal issues, some financial issues, family issues, housing issues, and on, not everybody, but a lot of them. And if all you do is treat the addiction, that's great, but if you don't help deal with the other issues, they'll be back. And society has done better. We have yet to really fully recognize and embrace the issue of addiction problems and depression as a real mental health issue, as a real health issue. We dance around it and we play with it. And to be perfectly honest, there's a lot of people in the healthcare field that have kind of walked away from it because it is so difficult to make these numbers work. And let's be honest, I mean, Dimmick, like everybody else, I mean, if you just threw money out the window, you wouldn't be around very long to do the rest of the work you do. It is a bottom line item. You got to be able to make the numbers work. And when you find an issue that's difficult to do, and you don't run away from it, just the opposite, you lean into it, and you take it head on, to me, that deserves recognition. And Dimmick's been doing this work for years. And the fact that this is one more step is a great thing to celebrate. And that's why I wanted to come today. I wanted to say thank you to all of those of you who have made it possible. I want to really express my appreciation to Dr. Jordan. She has become very quickly one of those people you just don't say no to. You just don't. I mean, and most of you know that. That's why you're here. And that's what this needs. That's what this neighborhood needs. That's what this state needs. That's what this country needs. And really, when everything's said and done, yes, a great building, and yes, it's difficult, but it's about what's in your heart. It's about what you're doing for others that deserves my appreciation, and that's why I wanted to come this morning to say thank you all very much for doing the hard work, for doing the impossible work, for doing, at some levels, the thankless work of helping people that need your help. Dr. Jordan, you're a great leader, and you're helping us be better people. Thank you very much.
So now, I've been blessed with a lot of pleasures this morning. It is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Kevin Tabb, CEO of Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center. Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center has been the Dimick Center's primary partner for a number of years. BIDMC and its leadership has provided invaluable support to Dimick for many, many years, predating my arrival here and predating many of us here at Dimick. But it really shows the commitment that the hospital has had to Dimick's success. And for this campaign, our partnership has enabled our growth and expanded our reach. And I'm proud to also say that Dr. Kevin Tabb, the CEO, has been a role model and a friend. Please welcome me in please join me in welcoming Dr. Kevin Tabb for a few words. Finally got it out.
Well, thank you, Maisha, for those kind words, and I really want to thank you for your thoughtful, dynamic, inspiring leadership. Now, it's already been mentioned a couple of times that it's cold and we need to be brief, but I'm going to go off script I'm going to tell a quick Maisha story. So, when Maisha just started, I think she was in her first week, she gave me a call and she said, will you come over to Dimick? And I just want to pick your brain about what it means to be a CEO. I said, sure, be happy to. I came over and I said, well, you know, the first thing you need to know is you're going to spend a lot of time fundraising. Maisha did not miss a beat and said, so speaking of fundraising, you know the BIDMC commitment that you've made? We need a little bit more. I knew she was going to do well. We talked about finances. It's already been mentioned here that there's incredible work that's done. Dimick is a nonprofit, but as we frequently say, that sure doesn't mean you can be a for loss. And you have worked hard on that. But really, in the end, it's not about the money, it's about what you do with that money. And you are doing amazing things here every single day. The Sewell Center is only the latest example of the many achievements and accomplishments that you've led and that have been led before you. Congratulations to the entire Dimick Center for everything that you've done. I also want to thank you for the wonderful partnership with Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center. We really complement each other. All of us in the healthcare world know how important the services that you provide are. This year marks the 50th anniversary of the Dimick BIDMC partnership. In 1968, what was the Beth Israel Hospital established the maternal and infant care program. And over all of those many 50 years, our partnership has grown and strengthened. And today, I don't want to play favorites, but it is one of the clinical relationships that I'm most proud of. I really look forward to many, many more years of fruitful collaboration. So, lastly, I want to thank everybody here. Together, I think we have all brought to life a vision to expand and improve care and to increase the number of lives that you save and transform. I'm really proud to stand here today and to know that BIDMC played a part with you in bringing that vision to life. Congratulations to each and every one of you. Thank you for making this possible.
Is the governor here? Oh, he is here. Okay. All right. Oh. I don't don't know how you can sneak past me. That's amazing. So it's my honor and pleasure to introduce a leader who is known and respected here in Boston and across the Commonwealth. Indeed, his recognition expands nationally as the governor with the highest approval rating in the United States. Governor Baker has made the issue of substance use disorder, the opioid epidemic, a central part of his work and the work of his cabinet. His thoughtful and strategic leadership on this issue has made our Commonwealth a model for the nation. It is my pleasure to welcome Governor Charlie Baker to the podium.
Good morning, everybody, and this is, of course, a glorious day, but it's one in a long history of glorious days here at DMIC. Most of you know the history, so I won't go through it except to say that this institution, this hill, the people and the services that are provided here on this hill have a long, centuries-old commitment to this community and to this Commonwealth and to this city. And I think this is just one more chapter in a wonderful story. And Maisha, I have to give you enormous credit for the work that you've done here. You and your team have brought a vitality and a creativity and an imagination to your work and to your efforts on behalf of the people you serve that's extraordinary. And I always appreciate a chance that I have to be part of a joint initiative that involves wonderful organizations in our not-for-profit community, our partners in the federal government, our partners in city government, and our partners in state government here in Massachusetts. And I think part of the reason why you have the mayor and the congressman and Bob Rivers from Eastern Bank and the chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee and the Yawkey Foundation folks and Kevin Tabb from Beth Israel and the sheriff and Liz Malia, who's done wonderful work on the opioid issue. Thank you so much for your help on that. Jeez, and you got Flash Wiley here. I mean, my God. That just speaks to some extent to the extraordinary history, but mostly the amazing future. And on behalf of myself and Secretary Mary Lou Sutters and Commissioner Monica Burrell, I just want to say how much we appreciate being part of this. And a quick tip of the hat to the folks at HED and to Crystal Cornegay for a big chunk of change to make this all possible. But we're here because this is a great institution, a great organization with great people, and that's where you want to put your money when you have an opportunity to do it. And we're very pleased to be part of this, and we look forward to continuing to build on the great history and the great success that has been DMIC for so many years. Thank you.
Last but not least, we are exceptionally proud to partner with the Yawkey Foundation. From the very beginning of this journey, it was clear that the Yawkey Foundation was willing to take on tough issues. Before the devastation of the opioid epidemic hit the mainstream, the Yawkey Foundations recognized our need, the need of our community, and they stepped up. They guided and supported the evaluation of the building, the campaign assessment, and finally the capital project. Indeed, they have been with us every step of the way. I'm grateful to the trustees, to Maureen, to Jim. Thank you for believing in us and helping this project to come to fruition. Jim Healy, president of the Yawkey Foundation, please join me for a few words.
Thank you, Maisha, and thank you all today for coming out for DMIC. In 1988, Mrs. Jean Yawkey directed the Red Sox to contribute money and auction items for Steppin' Out. Jean had the Red Sox contribute each year, and after her death, the Red Sox continued that tradition. I believe it was 1997, the Red Sox players got so caught up with Jean's spirit for DMIC that they voted as a team to contribute to DMIC, and that amount was matched by the Red Sox. In 1998, the Yawkey Foundation began supporting DMIC and has contributed every year since. In 2012, Maureen Blade and I toured DMIC campus with CEO Ruth Ellen Fitch. We're especially impressed with the work done in the Sewell building, treating patients with acute addictions. The staff was exceptionally skilled and devoted to their patients, and this showed in the success rate. What was hard to understand was how they could have such a great success rate in a building that was so woefully depressing and needing major work. DIMIC needed money for an engineering and architectural study to obtain a reasonable cost estimate for the project before the DIMIC board could make a decision to proceed. The Yawkey Foundation's trustees were so impressed with the life-saving work being done for addiction patients in the Sewell building, they voted to grant $200,000 for the initial planning and design study. In 2015, when that study was completed and the DIMIC board voted to move ahead with the project, we met with Dr. Maisha Minter-Jordan, who made such a great case for supporting the building project that our Yawkey Foundation trustees decided to make the lead gift of $2.5 million for the Building to the Road to Recovery campaign. Every grant the Yawkey Foundation trustees make is consistent with the legacy of Tom and Jean Yawkey and their desire to support people in need in the communities they loved, especially the city of Boston. On behalf of the trustees of the Yawkey Foundation, we are pleased and honored to be with you all today for this great occasion, the opening of the Dr. Lucy Sewell Center for Acute Treatment Services. Congratulations to Maisha, the DIMIC board, and the entire DIMIC community of employees, patients, and friends for this remarkable achievement. Thank you.
Stay right here. So now we've come to the moment that we've all waited for, the ribbon cutting for the new Sewell Center. But before we do, and we've said it a lot today, but it can't be said enough, a moment to honor someone that, as I said to Boston Magazine just the other day, and I've said in a lot of places, because it's so true, and it's the first thing I think of when I think of her, but someone who I call a rising star who's still rising. Someone who has come on the scene here in Boston and in such a short period of time had such a tremendous impact on our community, starting, of course, here at the DIMIC Center and culminating in this special day, in this incredible project, the largest capital project in DIMIC's history. So, Maisha, on behalf of the board, past and present, all of the DIMIC employees, really the entire DIMIC family here, we have something to present to you. We have present to you, and Arlene has it here, a facsimile, but it's hanging inside on the wall that the team has kept secret from you, amazingly.
What is this?
So in honor of the tireless work that you do every day, we present this plaque, and the plaque reads as follows. The DIMIC Center dedicates this lobby to Maisha Minter-Jordan.
Ribbon and get warm. So.